The most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his actions. Peace is not absence of conflict, it is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. A people free to choose will always choose peace. We are never defeated unless we give up on God. It's true, hard work never killed anybody, but I figure, why take the chance? There are no constraints on the human mind, no walls around the human spirit, no barriers to our progress except those we ourselves erect. There are no great limits to growth because there are no limits of human intelligence, imagination, and wonder. I've often said there's nothing better for the inside of a man than the outside of a horse. Recession is when a neighbor loses his job. Depression is when you lose yours. Government does not solve problems, it subsidizes them. Democracy is worth dying for, because it's the most deeply honorable form of government ever devised by man. No government ever voluntarily reduces itself in size. Government programs, once launched, never disappear. Actually, a government bureau is the nearest thing to eternal life we'll ever see on this earth. Man is not free unless government is limited. Surround yourself with the best people you can find, delegate authority, and don't interfere as long as the policy you've decided upon is being carried out. You can tell a lot about a fellow's character by his way of eating jelly beans. Status quo, you know, is Latin for the mess we're in. The problem is not that people are taxed too little. The problem is that government spends too much. I have wondered at times what the 10 Commandments would have looked like if Moses had run them through the U.S. Congress. I never drink coffee at lunch. I find it keeps me awake for the afternoon. Facts are stubborn things. Approximately 80% of our air pollution stems from hydrocarbons released by vegetation, so let's not go overboard in setting and enforcing tough emission standards from man-made sources. I'm not worried about the deficit. It is big enough to take care of itself. How can a president not be an actor? Concentrated power has always been the enemy of liberty. We should measure welfare success by how many people leave welfare, not by how many are added. A tree's a tree. How many more do you need to look at? The trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant, it's just that they know so much that isn't so. When you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under. Inflation is as violent as a mugger, as frightening as an armed robber, and as deadly as a hitman. Government's view of the economy could be summed up in a few short phrases. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted, it belongs to the brave. Government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives. How do you tell a communist? Well, it's someone who reads Marx and Lenin. And how do you tell an anti-communist? It's someone who understands Marx and Lenin. Within the covers of the Bible are the answers for all the problems men face. It has been said that politics is the second oldest profession. I have learned that it bears a striking resemblance to the first. There are no easy answers, but there are simple answers. We must have the courage to do what we know is morally right. Some people wonder all their lives if they've made a difference. The Marines don't have that problem. Life is one grand, sweet song, so start the music. Don't be afraid to see what you see. All great change in America begins at the dinner table. Today we did what we had to do. They counted on America to be passive. They counted wrong. Before I refuse to take your questions, I have an opening statement. I know in my heart that man is good, that what is right will always eventually triumph, and there's purpose and worth to each and every life. All the waste in a year from a nuclear power plant can be stored under a desk. Government is like a baby, an alimentary canal with a big appetite at one end and no sense of responsibility at the other. Latinos are Republican. They just don't know it yet. Each generation goes further than the generation preceding it because it stands on the shoulders of that generation. You will have opportunities beyond anything we've ever known. To sit back hoping that someday, some way, someone will make things right is to go on feeding the crocodile, hoping he will eat you last, but eat you he will. Above all, we must realize that no arsenal, or no weapon in the arsenals of the world, is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. Welfare's purpose should be to eliminate, as far as possible, the need for its own existence. Republicans believe every day is the 4th of July, but the Democrats believe every day is April 15th. If we love our country, we should also love our countrymen. Government exists to protect us from each other. Where government has gone beyond its limits is in deciding to protect us from ourselves. The best minds are not in government. If any were, business would steal them away. Freedom prospers when religion is vibrant and the rule of law under God is acknowledged.